Hey, it's your girl Yahrasiel The Multipreneur, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use your journal from red to black weekly financial journal. So the journal comes in paperback and the journal comes in spiral copy. In this video, I'm going to just use the spiral version just because it's easier to maneuver. But if you get your journal from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, or any of the other stores online, you're going to receive a paperback version. Spiral copies of the journal are available on my website. I am themultipreneur.com. I'll make sure that I place that link below so that you'll have easy access if you prefer to have a spiral copy of the journal. Before we get started, let me give you a couple of tips about journaling, especially if you're not used to journaling. Journaling is going to be a lot easier for you if you set up a specific time to do it. So what I'm telling you is have a routine. Maybe the same day, the same time, you will write in your journal. The other thing that is really good to do is to create pleasant experiences around your journaling. What do I mean by that? Do what you like to do. Have what you like to have. Maybe you like coffee. Maybe you like a nice cup of tea. Maybe you like to have your special snack. Some of you like nice jazz music, nice worship music. Set the environment so that it is a pleasant time for you to write in your journal. So let's go ahead and get started. In the beginning of the journal, you'll see that there's an introduction. I just kind of tell you a little bit about myself and a little bit about my story. And then you'll see on this page, it's how to use the journal. So each section of the journal, there are 52 scriptures to help you to reflect. So you are going to intentionally plan your week on the page that says intentionally planning my week. So let me show you what page that looks like. So in each week, you have the intentionally planning my week. Here, we break things down on a weekly basis. Why weekly, Yahrasiel? Well, number one, we want to make sure that we are disciplined in our spending, disciplined in our saving, and disciplined in our giving. Sometimes it seems like we have more month than money. So I want you, no matter how you get paid, to divide that check up by 4. So each week, you try to plan as if you only had that money for the week. And this will be especially helpful for you to be mindful of what you're spending, to be mindful of what it is that you're saving, what it is that you actually really need to spend money on. So we just try to plan for the week. If you have more of an irregular salary, so like let's say you're like me, an entrepreneur, we never make the same amount from month to month. What you've got to do is you've got to take a look at your budget for the whole year. Literally for the whole year, and try to establish a baseline budget. What a baseline budget will do is it'll help you to know this is how much money I need to have each month. That's the bottom line number. So you'll divide that number by 12, and that's how you'll plan in your journal. So here you'll record how much you're going to earn, how much you're going to save, how much you can give each week. And write down here what it is that you need to buy, what it is that you know you need to pay. So maybe this week, there's rent and lights due. And then another week, it might be something else due. What are your money goals for the week? And I want you to really think about this. Like, what is it that I want to do with this money this week? And then write down your prayer requests. We always want to give thanks. So we write down our praise reports here. And this is just a little section for you to take notes. So I'm going to go back to the key. So then there's weekly reflection. A weekly reflection would be here. And so each week you do the week of whatever. There is your scripture. And here is something that you can do some reflection on. In this particular point, you just be honest. This is just a conversation that you're having with yourself and the Lord. And this part will help you to just develop some new mindsets about money and just help you to get into closer fellowship and relationship with God. Now, if we go back to the key, there are 5 tools in the back. Now, these tools are just extra help so that you know exactly where you are and where you want to be. So I'm going to flip to the back of the book. And the first one is the budget sheet. Now, you guys know, I don't get endorsed by Mint, but I highly recommend that you download mint.com. This is really just so that you can kind of get an idea about what it is that you're actually spending. I actually have a Excel budget that I will be more than glad to share with you. All you need to do is go to my website, IamTheMultipreneur.com, and just reach out to me and say, hey, Yahrasiel, send me the Excel budget. It's definitely much more comprehensive than this budget, but this is just to remind you that you need to have a budget sheet. In order for you to know where you're going, you have to know exactly where you are. The next tool in the back of your journal is a debt overview. You've got to write down all of your debt, even that debt that you're scared of, that you haven't looked at, because we know that the wicked borrow and do not repay. So you start with one debt at a time. Try to pay more than the minimum. And once you get that paid off, you add that payment to the next debt. That is called the snowball. You can get out of debt, and we will get out of debt. The next tool is for you to write down the money that needs to be set aside in case of an emergency. You need to plan to have 3 to 6 months of emergency money. If COVID hasn't taught us anything, it taught us that we need to make sure we have emergency funds in place. The things that you need money for: food, utilities, rent or your mortgage, transportation, and anything extra you need to write down for the emergency fund, you're going to put it here. So try to save a little bit of money each week to go toward your emergency fund. It's really important. This tool is for needs and wants. So when you spend, you want to make sure that you're spending it wisely. So I want you to use this for items that you really want, need, write down the cost, and this is a space for you to place notes about it, because you just want to make sure that you're making wise decisions. And sometimes if we put things down on paper, they become more clear to us. And the last tool is a chart for you to write down or log, long-term goals. So maybe you want to buy a home, maybe you want to buy a car, maybe you just did that. So you would log it here, and I'm doing this now. This next line or column says, I will do this year. So maybe there's something you need to do this year. This column is more for a longer term goal. I'll do this in 1 to 3 years. Maybe you've got to get rid of your debt. And for you, maybe it's going to take a while for you to get out of debt. And that's okay. You're not the only one. You're not alone. And then, so goals for longer types of goals, I will do this in 4 to 8 years. And when you complete it, log it. We want to celebrate our wins. So here are some long-term goals. So that's basically it. And the last page, just a place for you to write down some notes. But I want this to be a pleasant experience for you, writing in your journal. And I hope that this video helps bring you some clarity on how to successfully use your journal.